lot of it, like for me, goes back to the fact that my parents let me be like a loud child. I don't think we let girls be very loud very often, which is tough, I think, for a lot of people to feel that they may need to make themselves smaller for the space they're being put in. So I was allowed to be loud and be who I was. And for me, my big leadership journey started last year when I went on exchange to Hong Kong. I took that huge leap of faith and was just like, I can do this. And I studied environmental policy and stuff there. And then I came back and I was accepted to Daughters of the Vote through Equal Voice. And then started working for a Green Party politician. So I got to work with more environmental politics. And I've been able to meet so many incredible people through all those opportunities that I was able to become president of my university's chapter of the Rose Campaign and my university chapter of Because I'm a Girl. So for me, it just continues on and it's building upon every little time you say yes to something. In the summer, I worked for a female politician. She was the only female in her caucus. It goes beyond just education. It's about substantive and different types of representation. We can't just have one type of female in politics, and we need to make sure that they're inherently embracing their gender and not removing that. I'm passionate about looking at systemic barriers for women in politics, especially what comes from the political parties and the executive itself. So when we think about women like Jody Wilson-Raybould or Jane Philpott, those women were systemically had barriers against them that they just couldn't overcome because they're women. And there's a need for us to look at policy and politics and political management from a gendered lens that isn't being explored enough. And that's what I want to do. Well, the first one that gets me is that people think I'm a millennial. I'm not a millennial, I'm a Gen Z.
You're a Gen Z?
Yeah, so I'm right at the cusp, but I don't relate to anything of millennials. And that Gen Zs, I get really annoyed with the fact that I think we're just on our phones all the time. What we can accomplish with our phones is more than some of those people can accomplish in like days. I'm able to communicate and talk to people across the world in a matter of minutes because of how I use technology and the way we can use it. I get annoyed when people say, oh, they don't read enough. Well, I'm reading the news on my phone. I'm reading and interacting with tweets on social media and all these different ways. And I'd like for them to recognize that technology is just the way we see the world through a lens. And that for us, it's an important lens. Theirs was a bit different through radio because they heard it. But ours is going to be quite different than theirs. And I think it's important that it is different. And for me, I think the important thing was that I would get to meet more like-minded people. Like I texted someone this morning that, oh, I haven't laughed or been surrounded by this many like-minded people in a long time. And it's hard to find these communities. And being able to add to my community and my network across Canada is so important and valuable, especially in politics and networking. And seeing that the YWCA does all this work across the country, that you're never going to be quite alone if you're in one of these cities because you'll know someone from there.